Hello friends, welcome to today's What I Ate in a Day and How I Exercised in a Day on the Weight Watchers myww Blue Plan. Those of you who have seen these videos before will know that I record a day of eating and keep track of my exercise, and then I sit down here the next day to do a little bit of a review. That way I can understand how the entire day went. I can give you a little bit of a review on any recipes that I tried and just sort of give a nice summary of the day. Let's start out with my morning coffee. I had a little bit of an impulse purchase when I was grocery shopping, and I found this limited edition Christmas time coffee creamer. I'm not usually a coffee creamer kind of person. I usually just use some 2% milk and some sweetener in my coffee, but I love anything peppermint mocha. It is just like one of my favorite flavor combinations. So I had to try this. So basically through the day through the morning, I had 3 cups of coffee. One of them I had with some 2% milk, so I counted that for 1 point. And then each tablespoon of this coffee creamer was 2 points. And I did have 2 mugs of coffee with a tablespoon each of this creamer in it. It was good. It is good. I'll keep using it through the holidays. It definitely does not have the flavor. I mean, you're adding a tablespoon. One of my favorite things ever are Starbucks peppermint mochas as a holiday drink. And I mean, this isn't that, right? Because those are super sweet, super high point. They're just like, it's almost like a hot chocolate. And this is just adding like a little bit of flavor and a little bit of scent to the coffee, but it's still very enjoyable. So I spent a few more points than I normally would on my morning coffee, but you know, it balanced out through the day. Next, we'll get into my breakfast, which I was super excited about. I decided I was in the mood for like quick and easy waffles, so basically freezer waffles, Eggos, and I picked up some buttermilk Eggos when I was at the store, and I had one of them for 2 points. Now, for me, the best thing about a waffle is that all those little cups hold actual, real, pure maple syrup. Delicious, delicious maple syrup. So I didn't want to skimp on the maple syrup. I used a full tablespoon for 3 points. Get all that lovely maple syrup flavor. But what I did, because you know that's a little higher carb, higher sugar, I paired it with a like yogurt protein bowl. So I basically took 0% plain Greek yogurt and mixed in 1 point's worth of protein powder. I used Cake Pop flavored protein powder. And then I took some frozen blueberries and microwaved them till they were thawed, but also kind of melty and released their juice, and mixed that in with the yogurt. So it was a very satisfying breakfast because I had like a good amount of protein from the protein powder and the yogurt, but then I also had like that nice sweetness from it and like the maple syrup and the waffle. So it was very satisfying in terms of physically satisfying, but also very like emotionally satisfying because I got to have the waffle and maple syrup that I was craving. For lunch, I made a recipe. It's not really a recipe because I don't follow any recipe for it, but I made a meal that I had made previously, so I knew that I liked it, and it was zoodles and air-fried tofu. So what I did for this was I have a little veggie spiralizer. So I spiralized 3 zucchinis and I kind of put them in a colander with a little bit of salt and let it sit for, I want to say maybe about a half hour or so. That just sort of drains out a little bit of the moisture from the zucchini. And then I took about 1/3 of a block of firm tofu that I had pressed and cut it into little squares and air fried that just with a little bit of cooking spray. So the tofu gets crispy and chewy, and I put the zoodles into a pan, again with a little bit of cooking spray. What I find really makes this is the sauce. And so what I do is take 1 point's worth of powdered peanut butter. The one that I'm using is PB&Me, and that I mix with the tiniest bit of soy sauce, sriracha, a little bit of seasoned rice wine vinegar. What else did I put in there? A little bit of grated fresh ginger, and I think I didn't show it, but I used a little splash of lime juice as well. My secret for getting like a nice creamy zoodle dish is making the sauce really thick, like super thick, because one of the issues that people have when making zoodles is that they release a lot of liquid. So what I do is I make sure the sauce is really thick, so when I mix it in with the zoodles, it's the moisture coming out of the zucchini that makes the sauce creamy and adds a bit more moisture to it. So this entire zoodle dish, which is basically just kind of like a stir fry, is only 1 point, because the only points in this dish are coming from the 1 point of powdered peanut butter. And it is filling, it is satisfying, it is nice and creamy, it has a really good peanut taste to it. And I would encourage you, if you're trying zoodles, to make a kind of sauce that is super thick like this, so that you don't have like a really thin runny sauce for your zucchini noodle dish. During the day, my main exercise for the day, other than walking, I get a fair bit of walking in just in my day-to-day life. I also went and swam for 45 minutes, so that was my main workout during the day. It was nice to be able to do. It was like a rainy, cold day yesterday, so it was nice to get into the indoor pool in my building and swim for 45 minutes. One of the things that I do is challenge myself to do a certain number of laps in that time, so that I know I'm kind of pushing myself, because swimming is very relaxing, but I do like to try to make it more of a workout by trying to get a certain distance while I'm swimming. Heading into dinner, I tried 2 recipes from 2 sites that I go to find good Weight Watchers points recipes. So I made a slow cooker soup that was from Skinny Taste, and I will link the recipe down below. It is a slow cooker butternut pear soup. And basically for this recipe, you take some chicken or vegetable broth, a full butternut squash. In the recipe that they show, they put it in just cut in half and seed it and then take the skin out later after it's cooked. I actually just diced mine up and took the skin off before cooking, as well as 2 pears and some fresh ginger, and you let that cook until everything is nice and soft. And then you blend it and add a ½ cup of coconut milk and a little bit of nutmeg. Oh, and there's also 2 shallots that are put in when everything is cooking down together. Now, for some reason on the Skinny Taste website, they say this is 6 servings and each serving is 2 points. When I measured with the coconut milk I was using, it was 5 points for the whole recipe. And as far as I can tell, that's the only thing that has points in it. So mine, I decided to do 1/4 of the recipe per serving, and it came out to 1 point per serving. And I had that paired together with chicken flautas from the Pound Dropper website. And again, I will link the recipe down below, but the filling in this is some light cream cheese, some green chilies from a can, some lime juice, some different spices. What else goes into there? Some low-fat cheddar cheese, and then a bunch of cooked up and chopped chicken. That is the filling. I put mine into some corn tortillas, and then when I served it, I mixed together some 0% plain Greek yogurt with a little bit of lime juice and a little bit of salt, and then I put that on top along with some salsa. So for these 2 recipes, I have to say, the soup is fine. It's very sweet because butternut squash tends to be sweet and the pears are sweet that are in it. I didn't quite get the creaminess from the coconut milk. If I was to make this again, I might add more coconut milk and actually make it like the 2 points per serving, because I just felt like I wanted a little bit more thickness to it. And not, I guess it's thick because you blend everything, but I just wanted like a almost like creamier mouthfeel to it. So it's good. It's a wonderful way to get in like some good vegetables and fruit, and it does have some good taste to it, but I feel like I would tweak it a bit to make it like a real staple recipe. The chicken flautas, on the other hand, I really enjoyed that. And basically what I did is I made the filling, so I just have that in my fridge now, and I put some of it into these corn tortillas and crisped them up in my air fryer. They were delicious, so I would recommend this recipe. They ended up being 5 points for the 2 that you see, because it was, I believe, 2 points for the filling and then 3 points for the corn tortillas. I believe in their recipe, they call for some tortillas that are lower point, but we don't have those here in Canada. So this is what I did. So overall, for a very satisfying day of eating with a good amount of protein and lots of veggies, I had 19 points that I used through the day, so I was able to bank 4 points. I do track my exercise on my Apple Watch, and I ended up having 765 move calories burned in 47 minutes of exercise. I only walked 5,446 steps. That's not as much as I usually do, but there was, I got my swimming in, so I did get my exercise in. And that was my day overall. I don't think I mentioned this at the start of the video, but I do put at the end of the video a screen with all of my points, what the breakdown is for that, as well as my exercise. So let me know if you enjoyed this video just by giving it a thumbs up. If you have not watched, I am starting to do weekly sort of weigh-ins and different challenges through the weeks. I will link the first video of that series down below if you haven't seen it. If you are interested in any of my Peloton bike content, I will also link that playlist down below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!